On today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to navigate your relationship with your real estate agent. Obviously, buying and selling real estate can be really stressful, and not only that, but it is likely to be the biggest financial transaction of your entire life. So you really want to make sure that the person that you entrust to advocate and represent you in that transaction is someone that you trust, someone who knows what they're doing, and someone who's actually going to get you to cross the finish line. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So if you're selling your home, you should have at least a few expectations of your real estate agent. You're hopefully likely going to interview multiple agents to list your home before you choose one. And keep in mind, you should be doing that, and that is free. Any agent will more than likely be willing to come do an interview with you, check out the property, and give you their professional opinion on what it's worth, explain to you how they're going to sell your home and what their techniques and strategies and systems all look like. That is something you should be requiring before you just agree to let somebody list your home. So here are some of the things you should be expecting from your listing agent. That person should have pricing expertise. And when they come to your home for a listing appointment, they should have lots and lots of research compiled with comps, market data, like neighborhood stats, all of that. I mean, when I show up, it's like an 80-page report. Maybe it's overkill, but everything that they are using to price your home should be easy for them to explain to you. Like when they leave and you've settled on a price, you should be like, that's why we did that. Like, I fully understand. Because I think a lot of people have in their head what they think their home is worth, whether they just typed it into Zillow or whatever else. But there is actually a lot that goes into appropriately pricing a listing, and your agent should absolutely share all of that with you. Market knowledge is another big one, and it kind of ties into the pricing research and strategy, but your agent should be up to date on what's happening in the market as a whole in your area, but also like neighborhood specifics. They should understand kind of where that neighborhood is heading, whether it's going to be developed in the near future or it's kind of starting to decline in value. They should understand all of that and be able to advise you as far as pricing based on that kind of data. Your agent should also be coming to the table with a marketing strategy, and it's not going to just be like, I'm going to throw it on the MLS, because that is not a strategy, and that doesn't set any agent apart from another. You need to make sure that your agent is very skilled at marketing. I believe that in addition to the MLS, which syndicates to Realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, all of the other DIY sort of search platforms for buyers and sellers, your agent should also be putting extra funds into a digital marketing strategy, which might include Facebook or Instagram ads, Google ads, and hopefully a very healthy email campaign. You should understand that part of the reason why you pay your agent a commission is because they are going to be spending some of that money on marketing your property and making sure that it is getting seen by the right buyers. Another thing you should expect from your listing agent is complete transparency. If they are not somebody that you really feel is an honest person or is really forthcoming with all of their fees and whatever else, I mean, they're just not worth your time. There are plenty of other agents who will give that to you willingly, and it should be okay for you to ask about commission and ask about where all that money goes, because you might be surprised to learn, but when an agent gets a commission, they don't keep all of it. So a lot of people think that realtors are grossly overpaid for what they provide, but if you ask for a breakdown of where the commission actually goes, you might be surprised. Negotiating skills are an absolute must. That is something you should for sure expect from your agent. Make sure that they have a strong track record. You can ask for specific examples of strategies they've leveraged that have worked, and some recent wins that they might be able to share as far as things they've done for their clients that would attribute to a strong set of negotiating skills. Another thing you're going to want to get out in the open right away is time commitment. Make sure that you're super clear about how and when to get a hold of your agent, when you should expect a response, like how quickly after they get a text or phone call or email they should expect a response, and if there are any boundaries as far as like, I don't work weekends, which would be crazy in real estate, or like, I don't work at these hours. Make sure that you know all that up front so that you are not taken by surprise. A lot of people will say anything to get a listing, and then the second your name is on the contract, it's like you never hear from your agent again, and that's just wrong. So make sure that you get that up front and make sure you have that conversation before you put wet ink on anything. With that, we're going to dive a little bit further into communication. So make sure when you're interviewing your agent that you discuss your preferred channels of communication. Are you somebody who likes to text? Are you somebody that prefers a phone call? Is it email better because of your workday? Whatever it is, make sure that you clarify that with your agent so that you are being communicated with in the way that's comfortable for you. Again, this should really be about you and not about the agent. Regular updates. Make sure that you are clear as to when you're going to be updated as things happen. If it's my transaction, I normally provide updates in real time as things come up. There are some other ways of doing this. I know in some of the new build communities, for example, Toll Brothers, they call their people in escrow and their new homeowners every Wednesday with an update of what's being done on the home, where they're at, any questions they may have. And so that's another system. As long as that's like expressed at the start and everyone's clear, I think that could work. I'm more of a in real time kind of person, but make sure that you know what you should expect. You're also going to want to find out exactly how you're going to be getting feedback. Once your home is being shown, most of us in our MLS use Showing Time. It's an app to schedule showings in any home or property, and it actually asks for feedback within the app, which can either go to the actual seller or your agent can kind of mitigate all that for you. But just make sure that you understand how you're going to be getting feedback and make sure that you are going to be getting some of that, so that if there is an opportunity to increase your price, or if it's seeming like the market's telling you it's overpriced, that you can kind of make those adjustments and make sure that your home is best positioned to sell. Here are some things that you should definitely be looking for in a real estate agent before you agree to hire them. So you're going to want to make sure that your agent has a lot of experience, and I especially have to say that when you are on the selling side of a transaction, this is super important. Most people, by nature of the business, begin as buyer's agents because the seller actually pays the commission for both the buyer and the listing agent. And so the buyer's agent is paid for by the seller. Now we could say, where does the seller get the money? From the buyer. So technically that money comes from the buyer. But for all intents and purposes, when you are going to serve a buyer client, the buyer is not paying your commission. So it's a lot easier of a sale, so to speak, to work with a buyer because you're not actually asking your client for money directly. Now, when you are the listing agent, you're not only negotiating your own commission, you're also negotiating your commission for the buyer's agent too. So a lot of agents enter the industry and are only working with buyers for many years. So you do not want to end up with an agent whose first listing is your house, right? I mean, maybe if they have a great broker or a great team lead or a mentor who has tons of experience that's going to kind of hold their hand throughout the transaction. But in most cases, you're going to want somebody with experience listing and selling homes as a seller's agent. You're also going to want somebody with a lot of local knowledge as far as what's happening in various communities in certain demographic pockets. In a city like ours, it could really vary from one part of the city to another. Professionalism is a must. If your agent or your potential agent is late to your listing appointment, can't find your house, like these are all things that matter, right? And when they come to the table demonstrating a lack of professionalism, I'm going to tell you that it's only going to get worse from there. Most often, agents are going to put their best foot forward in a listing appointment. So if you're not just blown away by their level of professionalism right out of the gate, expect it to get worse and probably move on to a different agent. Your agent should be able to provide many references of past clients who have been very happy with their service. If they can't do that, then that's a red flag. And we kind of already touched on this, but your agent should be very, very skilled at marketing. A lot of agents will only put things on the MLS and call it a day, and that's just not going to cut it in this market. You're going to want to have open houses, digital marketing, all the things that we talked about towards the beginning of this video, so make sure that your agent is skilled in those ways. And last but certainly not least, you're going to want to make sure that your agent is trustworthy. You are entrusting them not only with the keys to the palace, but also with one of the biggest financial transactions you will ever have in your entire life. So make sure that the person at the helm of that is somebody that you very much trust. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to book a free, no obligation call with me. There's a link to do that in the description box below. It's just a chance to get all your questions answered and help you devise a strategy to win in this market. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and that subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week about the Reno Sparks lifestyle, the Northern Nevada housing market, and all things related to buying and selling real estate. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.